Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horror review. I'm joined once again by Steve as we continue our journey along the Amicus trail of anthology films. Tonight we are talking about Tales from the Crypt, 1972 British horror film directed by Freddie Francis, an anthology film consisting of 5 separate segments based on Tales of Crypt short stories by Al Friedstein, Johnny Craig, and Bill Gaines. The film, as I said, was produced by Amicus Productions, filmed at Shepperton Studios. It was made on a budget of 170,000 and brought in, wait for it, $3 million at the box office. £2 million, $3 million at the box office. This is made 170 grand, brought in 3 million. I'm just scratching my head at that. I'm like going, how?
Yeah, someone liked horror, didn't they? Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna do a carbon copy of last time.
Yeah, we'll be finished by 8:05. No, I was very disappointed with this one. Very disappointed. And it's like I said to you that there was probably just the one of the 5 sketches with Peter Cushing in that I actually thoroughly enjoyed. And even that was weak on script, I would say.
Yeah. It dragged. I think it was the longest story.
Yeah.
It seemed to have went on longest, but they really dragged it out.
Yeah.
Um,
But again, you get a sort of number one actor like Peter Cushing, and he makes anything seem just so. He makes the best out of a poor script and poor dialogue, doesn't he?
oh yeah, absolutely. He's an absolute legend. Like they're part of I don't know, an era long gone now.
Yeah.
Sadly, but because I've been watching a lot of Christopher Lee interviews and just him talking about the craft, no, legitimately taking it seriously, and the whole thing about not being a star and disappearing up your own backside and chasing fame and glory, trying to take the fast route and all that kind of stuff, and being true to yourself and pushing yourself. And you don't get that anymore.
No.
You see any actor now, and the minute they open their mouths, you just absolutely cringe. Like, they say nothing of worth.
Yeah.
You think out some Peter Cushing interviews, actually, just them.
Trying to think of the actor. He actually said that they actually said to him, "Why don't you take all the big screen roles that you've been offered?" And he said, "Because I like to think of my roots and just do the lesson of." Who was it? I'm trying to think who it was now, but
Is it recent?
No, it was some time ago. But he actually said he likes to do the lesser known films. I'm trying to think who it was, but yeah, and he said that they meant just as much to him as some of the big budget ones, because it's a lot of them were well written as well. But this, well, I said to you, didn't I just watched it, and I said you'll have a whale of a time with this one.
Well, I laughed at the first one. So we'll start off. We've got, like, it's almost carbon copy of Tales from, the Vault of Horror. And I'm going to mix these two up because you could barely tell them apart just in terms of story beats. Bunch of people going for a tour through the catacombs, and of course these 5 people see another door and they walk through it, and they meet the Crypt Keeper, and you just know where it's going. Like, okay, they're all dead, right? Now we're going to find out how they died. Like, even before you begin, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to be taken down somewhere, and they're going to find out that the end of the world is nigh. Like,
yeah.
Because this is Tales of the Crypt. Not a good ending, is it?
Yeah, and it's actually these are stories taken from the comics, but the Tales from the Crypt series itself, they got the tone of the comic, with the Crypt Keeper, and they made it a joke, and it was all meant to be tongue in cheek. Where once again they're trying to take themselves seriously in this, and because of that, they lose the humor.
Yeah, Yeah. The I think because the later one wasn't there. There was one made years ago, 1989 was it, something like that, and they had the old cartoon Crypt Keeper, didn't they? Who used to come on after every sketch and give that sort of humour.
Yeah, I remember the puppet. Obviously they had the puppet.
Yeah,
But Tales from the Crypt, Creep Show, they're very similar shows. They've got a particular sense of humor, and you approach them a certain way.
yeah,
But what they've done here is they've tried to put the veneer of Hammer horror over the top, and it just doesn't work.
yeah.
Like you're starting off with the organ music to begin with, and you're just like, oh come on, this doesn't fit.
No, back to Cat.
Yeah. It's like,
Yes.
oh,
It's like a comedy version of a Dracula film, isn't it? The sort of thing that Mel Brooks would have in one of his.
yeah. But that's fine if you let it descend in the first, like Saturday the 14th,
Yeah.
or oh god, the Kenny Everett one, Bloodbath at the House of Death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where it works. This doesn't, because they're doing two completely different styles. They're not even mashing, they're like bashing them together. It's like trying to get the square peg round hole. This'll fit. And it really shows on screen.
Yeah. They probably grabbed a piece that didn't need any royalties paid on it, because it's isn't there something they don't need royalties if the person's
25
dead?
years,
Yeah.
a property, if it's not used, goes into the public domain.
Yeah. So Mr. Back died centuries ago, didn't he? And there's probably no more backs around.
Although you try playing classical music, a well-known classical tune on YouTube on your video, and watch the copyright strikers come after you.
Oh right, yeah.
It did it with me with Frank Sinatra, of all things.
Sure. Mad, isn't it?
And it was the story. I was one of the horrific tales, and the story featured the Frank Sinatra song. That was the whole point of the story.
Yeah.
So there was no way I was putting something else in. It had to be the Frank Sinatra song, because the character plays it on his record player before he goes out and does his shenanigans.
Yeah.
And you're like,
don't Facebook allow it if you put "I do not own the rights to this song"? Because I see it with there's a dance group called Funkinometry. They're two young lads who were on America's Got Talent, really good dancers, and on their videos they put "We do not own the rights to this song," and then they dance to whatever song it is.
There's always loopholes in that, but once again, it's YouTube's different. They just come out. They've got these third party. It's not even the companies. It's third party gobshites who try to get a commission from a claim, and they just operate on that, and they just go for it, even if it's not legitimate. What they're hoping to do is get you to capitulate, and hand over your advertising revenue to the other the record label or whatever else, and then they get a bonus for it.
Yeah.
And if they do that 100 times, obviously that's how they make their money.
So what do they do with my jokes then? Did you hear about that? I put a joke on Facebook the other day, and I got a message through saying this went against their profanity and their standards, and if I didn't take it down, there was a possibility I could be banned. And it was just a joke about I just murdered the mother-in-law by hitting her with a box of
You put the word murdered.
Yeah. And I just murdered the ex-wife by hitting her with a box of Weetabix. Please think I'm a serial killer.
Yeah, that's the oldest joke.
So I had to put a piece on top then, rephrase it saying, Facebook, get a bloody sense of humour. This is a joke.
Well, but that's we had this during the censorship of horror conversation. It's just they're bad words. They're not taking them in context or anything else. They're wanting this fluffy,
isn't it?
Fluffy, cutesy, wootsy disgusting Americanized language,
Yeah.
and it's all Southern Californian, so the state of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the suns went to their head.
But
But it's just one postcode in America. I think the whole world's like them, and they're imposing their shite on the rest of us. No nuance for types of humor, banter, anything else. Just no, and it's depressing.
yeah. Now this movie though, I had to laugh. They went into the crypt and the door slammed behind them. Now me, I would have been going, "Oh, I'm gonna get out! I'm gonna get out!" These, the Crypt Keeper, didn't he? He said, "Sit down," and they all went, "Oh, okay, we'll sit down." Hello.
Yeah, just completely nonchalant, and you're like, "Oh, this is going to be special." Bunch of
I'll sit down. I would have been going up to him saying, "Let me out! Let me out!"
at least the Vault of Horror, the guys were like, "Well, this is a bit strange, but we're in a bar. Let's make the
Yeah,
most of it."
let's have a
You know,
drink.
that's
Oh,
if you're going to lock me in a bar, I'm going to do what's natural. And you're like,
yeah.
okay, I can get with that. Oh, there's the stream is complete. We were talking about you, Chris, before we
Hello,
came online.
Chris.
Said, no stream's a stream without Chris.
We were just talking about you, Chris.
You could have 1 million people watching. I don't care. I'm like, where's Chris? He was with me at the final end of Black Book. I finally got that finished after 30 odd hours of gameplay. Oh, that was something. But I'll get there that. But yeah, notice we're doing everything except talk about this movie because we're just trying to avoid it. Because
I thought it was very apt that the first story was Christmas, and I thought, it's nearing Christmas. This is good.
yeah, just coincidence time. But also the most ridiculous plot line.
Yeah,
and it's got some fierce competition in this. But
I mean, this guy obviously loved her because he bought her a nice present and put love to the best wife in the world or something like that, wasn't it? And love, and then she goes and hits him over the head with a poker,
a silver poker.
Yeah,
like not even a
did you
cast
notice?
iron, but like proper. And you see the inside that fireplace, all like pure white. Like, how the hell scrubs that every day?
But when she hit him over the head, he had a party hat on. That disappeared, and there was all this blood, and then it reappeared.
Blood? Blood?
Well, paint.
Yeah,
red paint.
Blood.
She
Yeah,
looked
right.
lost.
It was vinyl. It was vinyl. It wasn't even vinyl gloss. It wasn't even
orangey red. But this hat disappeared totally, and he slammed him on the head. And then when he was laying on the white sheepskin rug, the hat suddenly appeared under his body, and you would have thought, well, how did it get there? And it was on his head, and then why wasn't it on his head still when you saw the wound when he was sat up?
Why worry about details like that? You know what I mean? When you see this plot anyway, I think that's the least of the worries. So we're guessing Christmas Eve round about then.
Yeah.
And just for no reason whatsoever, she decides to bop her husband on the head with a poker.
Yeah.
No indication of anything being wrong. Her kid's still upstairs. Their kid's still upstairs in the bedroom.
Yeah, shouting, "Night, Dad!"
Yeah. So bear in mind this is 1970s Christmas Eve and everything's still paper. Her plan is bop him over the head, get the insurance, and what? When's she cashing that in?
What was she going to say? Oh, he fell down the stairs to the basement, and banged his head. Surely the police would have noticed it was a wound caused by something sharp, as opposed to him falling down the stairs in the basement.
I love how everything just washes off with a quick rinse in the sink.
Yeah,
because that's the way it works.
See, no soap.
No soap, no, just a quick rinse, no soap. Why would you need stuff like that? That's dirty. Obviously, they didn't have the budget.
And even the sheepskin rug, she was rubbing it to get the blood out with just water, wasn't she?
Because that works.
It was like becoming pink in large patches.
Like, there's no way in hell you're doing that.
No.
If anyone's ever had a deep pile carpet, I know they're not the thing anymore, but if anyone's ever had a deep pile carpet or rug, you touch, you touch that thing at your peril.
Yeah.
Like, the slightest bit goes on it, that's it. You're done.
But yeah, the blood made me laugh. It was like bright red, wasn't it? It wasn't even blood color and thick like paint. And yeah.
Where's the special effects, guys? What's that? And this is what makes a horror movie. The special effects people. I've said this 100 times. We've said at the beginning, mate. The first thing you need is a script, a good script.
Yeah.
You don't have that, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
Good storyline that people can follow.
You could have the best actors in the world, but
to fact, this is Joan Collins. I think she's pretty well known.
Yeah, yeah, she was. Wasn't she a very well known lady? Wasn't she? Wasn't that the one who got married about
7 times?
7 times, yeah, something like that.
What was it? I watched her. Forgive me for my sins. It's only happened a couple of times in my life, but I watched her on Piers Morgan, that interview show he did many years ago. And she actually explained their marriages, how it all happened.
Yeah.
And I believed her. Because I'm a bit of a naive idiot as well. So I can understand it. Just, this is the right thing to do. Let's go ahead. Oh, it's all falling apart. Right then. I'll be all right this time. Let's go. Oh, right. Shit. Maybe better rethink my life. So I'm kind of she's an interesting person. You know what I mean? She's not a bubblehead.
No, I've seen her, and she's very forward, and she's not one who doesn't speak her mind. She's and she doesn't seem to care really about things that have happened. I think I overheard her say something like, "She can't change the past, so why worry about it?"
That's not a bad way to live.
Yeah, on one of her interviews, I think it was when she was with, it might have been Des O'Connor, I think, something like that. Something my mum used to watch anyway. But one thing that got me as well is the little girl said, "Hey, look, Mummy, Santa Claus is here." What happened to the little girl? He didn't murder her, but she didn't come and say, "Santa Claus, stop strangling my mum." For some reason, the little girl disappeared, and Santa Claus didn't kill. I suppose the taboo subject, isn't it, killing kids? But
but the way they did it was right. She bops off her husband, no plan whatsoever, what she was going to do. And then over the radio, we hear about this serial killer that's escaped from a mental institution dressed as Santa Claus because
suddenly he's there.
And then he's going around going, whoa, ha, 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 around the windows.
Yeah.
Like he's the most unmotivated. Like, he could have got in that house about 10 times.
Yeah, just a serial killer of that caliber, a mental patient, would have just jumped through the window or something. Smashed down the door.
But the fact that she now knows he's about, and she's still carrying on trying to disguise her husband.
Yeah.
Where it's like
she was ringing the police, and then she looked at her husband on the ground.
We'll have to talk about that phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that phone was.
And me, I would have gone, shit, there's a serial killer. Let's ring the police, but not her. Oh, 9. Oh, my husband's on the ground there. I've got to get rid of his body. If she called the police and they'd seen the body anyway, she would have been done, But just
but they would have put, they'd put 2 and 2 together and had him in, logic just goes out the window. But this is what I'm talking about. If this had been in the Tales of the Crypt style, of the 80s, it would have worked because it would have been done with the hammy acting. It would have been ridiculous. It would have been portrayed as ridiculous. But they're trying to portray this as serious.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. The two humors don't mix. And it's just, it just failed already. Like, I laughed, but not at the comedy. I just laughed at the ridiculousness of the betrayal.
You know how I always say it when we're reviewing this sort of film, you've got to remember it's the 70s. Well, I just couldn't remember it was the 70s for this one because it was you couldn't even put it in the caliber of, well, we'll let them get away with that because it was the 70s. This, you just couldn't let them get away with anything. Like I said, the little girl just disappeared, and the color of the blood.
And it's not that they didn't have enough time, because they spent enough time faffing about during the segment.
Oh, the other thing, when she was dragging the body to chuck it down the cellar, there was no blood.
Nope.
There would have been a trail of blood, surely. No, nothing.
And the blood didn't pull either. You know what I mean? The blood didn't pull. He's been lying there bleeding out of his head, and no pool of blood. Just that little bit that she scrapes up and puts into the sherry glass.
Yeah, it was such a little bit, and then she pours it down when he's down the cellar, and it suddenly seemed to have.
It's like one of them magic refilling glasses, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant.
Which can just be washed off with a sprinkle under the tap, because that's the way it works. Even paint, you can't do that with paint.
No, God, no, you have to use terps or white spirit. Yes.
As I hate cleaning paintbrushes. I always get cheap paintbrushes so I can throw them out, because I hate having stuff like that about the place, because it's just nasty.
So that was the first one.
Yeah. And of course we go back to the crypt, and she just sort of looks, oh, right, so I'm dead then.
Yeah.
Just
is that
sit back down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
No emotion, nothing whatsoever.
And you're just like, all right. And everyone's just like, yeah, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's so wooden. I thought the last one was bad. So are these going to get progressively worse as we go back? Because we're going backwards.
What's the next one?
God,
Oh.
now you're asking. Hang on. Because there's 3 come out the same year.
Yeah.
Asylum.
Yeah. And what was what?
And then the House of Drip Blood. And then
House of Drip Blood. Yeah, because the guy who played the guide initially, Jeffrey Bowden, he was in the House of Drip Blood as well. And for those fans who know Jeffrey Bowden, I recognised him from his role as Catweasel. And also he was the Crow Man in Wurzel Gummidge. Now, I know that sounds sad that I know those two things.
That was a strange show.
Yeah.
That wasn't really for kids, though, was it?
Well, when my Aunt Sally, that one.
She was a bitch.
Yeah.
She was a hateful character.
Oh, yeah.
Nasty as just. I always felt sorry for Wurzel, because she always played him. And remember, they always did the thing. They never used knives or anything. They always cut cake with their hands and stuff.
Yeah. But it reminded me very much of the storyline of Phantom of the Opera, where the man fancied the woman, but the woman didn't fancy the man. And it was the same with Wurzel. He fancied her, but...
Oh, he was completely besotted in love with her. Yeah. And even other people around him going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
God, this is having a reflection of my life again. Sorry. This isn't meant to be a therapy session, by the way, but it's like, I've been there. People are going, what are you doing, Colin? It's like, but it seemed like a good idea.
We then went into the car crash one, didn't we?
No, it was Poetic Justice. Peter Cushing's one.
No, that was the third one.
Oh, sorry, Reflection of Death. Yeah. Oh God, yes. This.
What was the one?
No, Reflection of Death's the next one. Yeah. Abandons his family to be with his secretary.
Yeah. And
That's just a head scratcher.
I was just wondering. He kissed his kid goodbye, didn't he, Ian
Yes.
Hendry, and then said goodbye to him instead of see you later sort of thing.
Oh, you
But
knew what was happening before. You knew he was running away because it
then
was just.
suddenly he was being chased by a guy on a bike in a skeleton mask.
No,
And
that's not. Is that the one with the monkey's paw? That's the one with the monkey's paw. Not that one. This is the one that had the car crash and kept reliving it about 3 times.
oh, that's right, yeah,
This is the one
yeah,
he runs off, right? So we'll have the whole tender scene. Oh, I have to go on this business trip.
yeah,
And even his wife, she knows. You know what I mean? It's one of those you know that I know that you know sort of things as she's talking to him.
mm,
And then he goes to the flat
yeah.
and
And they packed up all the furniture, so they were absconding.
yeah, and there was so like not a ounce of passion between them. It was almost businesslike.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Very,
Yeah,
very strange.
let's go. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You drive.
And he leaves with one suitcase, and you're like, I suppose different. It was the 70s. You have to remember because who the hell could afford just to
Yeah,
like you just go off like that's it, and it all works out.
yeah. But I had I mean, the end was just silly because he was going around and everyone was screaming at him. Oh my god, and you really expected something gruesome, and then when he looked in his reflection in the table, it was like a bit of a, oh my god, was that it?
Yeah.
It's a mask. You could see it was a mask, and it was hardly. It looked like something that a kid would wear in Halloween, and why everyone was screaming, going like this. It just wasn't right.
No, but the whole thing about it, they have the car crash and what happens twice or something, doesn't it? It's like he has a dream about it and then it actually happens.
And it happens, yeah, because he goes, "Oh, just a bad dream," and then it.
And plus, those cars didn't have power steering.
No, and
you don't just do that with those cars. That doesn't work.
But did you see when the car went through the fence, went over? It was like you could see it was a model. There was no people in it, and it just went.
I thought the one in the Vault of Horror, the car blown up. I thought that looked bad, but this beats it because you just waiting for someone to do that, weren't you?
Yeah.
Just
yeah, and she was then blind, wasn't she?
She was blinded from the accident, and apparently it's been years since this has happened.
Yeah. And he just turned up and went, "Hi, I'm Carl." It's like you can't be. There was no argument about the fact that and he was Carl.
The only good performances us Joan Collins and Peter Cushing. And I say Joan Collins because she was just overacting. She was just having a laugh.
She always used to overact, though, didn't she?
Yeah, that's her thing. So just in terms of giving a performance and giving me a chuckle, if nothing else, that was it. But everyone else is so wooden in this.
Yeah. But if you look at Peter Cushing's sketch, he had children in his house. I was thinking if he'd done that these days, he'd be the.
But they bring that up in this. Yeah, so that reflection, that was just a weird one. I was like, blink and you miss it. It was a nothing.
I suppose back in those days, it wasn't frowned upon, was it, to have.
You had the Lollipop Man and all carried sweets and stuff. It used to be there were people that liked children, as in just thought them fun to be around, not actually Jimmy Savile's, the world.
I had my Uncle Joe who used to make Airfix models for me, you know, and yeah, and we knew them as uncle or auntie. You know, I had Uncle Joe and Auntie Mary, and they weren't related. A few doors up, they were
Yeah, but it
neighbours.
was part of the community. Like you probably
Yeah,
grew up the same as I did, where people just walked in and out of each other's houses.
yeah, yeah.
Like you didn't even knock, or the door was open and people just come in, and
That's right.
that was just the way it was.
Yeah, yeah.
When we had a caravan for the summer, so we had our own caravan.
You
And when you
go
went
up,
there, you just went and knocked on the doors to see if anyone had kids.
yeah, and you go even down as far as the neighbourhood type of thing where you'd knock on the if you were going to the shop, you'd knock on the door saying, "Do you want anything at the shop?"
Yeah,
And, you know,
you usually
and
end up with a bloody list, and then you made like 50p or a 10p
yeah,
or something every run, and you had enough for another bag of sweets or something. You know, it was just
but yeah, I thought you know he had all these kids in there, and these days it just if the film was made, you know, these days they wouldn't be allowed to sort of cast that, would they? But
no. But to bring that up in this anyway, they start to so basically what we have is Arthur. My old man's a dustman. He's a dustman. He owns his house. He's a widower.
yeah, his wife died.
Yeah. The area has become gentrified,
Yeah,
and you've got these two looking across, father and son, and the son's just staring out the like. What
oh,
the hell have you got to do all day apart? If you're staring out the window at your neighbor,
yeah.
I don't like my neighbor, but I don't fucking stare out the window at him. You know what I mean? I'm like,
In the house that Peter Cushing was in just didn't fit in with the
oh
house.
no, it was a different neighborhood. But I think that was the point they were trying to make.
Yeah, but
He
yeah,
wouldn't sell to get it built over, redeveloped, into the modern
yeah,
houses. And he was like an eyesore, and you're like, I love the way people are talking about devaluing their houses if they're planning to sell up immediately.
yeah, uh, yeah. Because if he's there, why worry about it if you're going to stay there anyway?
Yeah, and it's just a matter of time. So, not, what I mean? Peter Cushing wasn't playing a young, sprightly man.
Mm.
That's what I like about Peter Cushing, actually. He was never afraid to play those sort of parts.
No,
Do you know where you had your typical Hollywood actor always had to be the hero or this,
yeah,
and they couldn't demean themselves in any way, but Peter Cushing would just play any role.
yeah, yeah,
And this is another one, like it's very similar to his shopkeeper sort of role, but still, when you see him play roles like Van Helsing, he's very stiff, upper class, and
yeah.
heroic.
Even
And then,
the antique shop
yeah,
in From Beyond the Grave.
mm-hmm.
He played that antique shop owner very well. He'd come across as an antique.
Yeah, it wasn't just Peter Cushing in a role; it was actually just absorbed role. Same as this, I mean, you saw him the typical gloves, and what was it? Oh, he takes stuff from the tip and he fixes it. How dare he? You're like,
Yeah, what's it got to do with you?
yeah.
He's not giving it to you, is he? He's yeah,
And the kids don't, because obviously he cleans the stuff, you know what I mean? And he's,
yeah.
what's he doing? He's holding down a job. He's
Oh yeah. I
doing
mean,
nothing
in
wrong.
1972, anyway, things like a repaired hobby horse would have meant so much to a child.
Yeah.
They never had computers then, and they wouldn't have wanted. Oh, I've got to have the latest iPhone or the latest, iPad.
I think that's where we went wrong. That's what I said. Everything's just become so bland.
Mm.
And you don't even own it anymore. I had an issue. I was trying to stream on Saturday, and my gaming platform, the PC one, because you don't even get the discs anymore. You know what I mean? You log into an account and you buy games like Amazon.
Yeah.
And I got locked out of my account for some random reason. I think it was a glitch or something, but there's games I bought on a platform, and then all of a sudden they decide, no, you're not watching them, or you're not playing anymore. And the weird reason they put up was like, you're accessing this too many times, like, well, more than once a week. That's too much. What the fuck? What the hell is this? But you don't even own it. You know what I mean? You don't even own the thing anymore. You see, back then at least you owned a toy, and
Yeah.
Someone with skills was
Yeah.
used. You know what I mean? Someone was revered with skills,
Yeah.
and the kids were happy, and there was all innocence. Do you remember innocence?
Yeah. I was talking about this the other day about I said one Christmas my parents gave me two big Tonka toys. It was a digger and a tractor, and you never wanted for anything because you appreciated, you know, your parents and what they could afford. Um, and I loved these Tonka toys. I used to crash them together, and because they were, I don't know if you know Tonka, they were supposed to be indestructible.
So they're die-cast metal. When they were
Yeah, and they were brilliant and lasted years and years. Well, they probably still go in, now if I kept them. But yeah, so something like a hobby horse and a doll that he'd mended would have probably meant so much to the kids back then, back in the 70s.
But you just see these people and they're like sneering at him, and
Mm,
you're like, what a weird thing to get obsessed about. I know it's the plot of the story,
yeah.
but unless they were planning to sell up, what did it matter? All I had to do was wait him out.
Even the dogs. What harm were the dogs doing to him?
But it wasn't about that. It was a plot.
To
This is the one of them. The one of them to sell up and
yeah,
move. So this is where the whole plot of breaking him down.
yeah.
So it was destroying everything he loved. So get rid of his dogs.
But
Um,
he did. The guy went over and dug up all the flowers, and suddenly it was the dogs. Well, what proof did they have it was the dogs?
but you didn't. But that was another aspect of back then, which is and it's easy to put a gloss over the 70s and 80s,
Yeah,
but that shit could happen.
yeah,
You could make accusations, and if you were in good standing, guess what? You could do whatever you wanted.
yeah.
It was back to the whole class system as well. It was a whole middle. These were middle class arseholes. He's working class.
Yeah.
So who are they going to believe?
Yeah. So
I thought Tarkin was a Grand Moff and not an Admiral. I thought a Grand Moff was higher ranking than an Admiral. Mr. Chris, I thought you were supposed to be a Star Wars fan and know these things.
come on, Chris, tell us.
No, he got it. He's supposed to be a Star Wars fan. And he got it wrong.
Admiral, was he?
No, he was a Grand Moff.
Admiral Tarkin.
No, Grand Moff. He was a Grand Moff because there was a Moff, and then the title of Grand Moff was like the complete overseer of the fleets.
Yeah. Wasn't he promoted? No, he wasn't promoted, was he?
No, he was the highest rank you could get next to in the fleet. Grand Moff was the highest rank. Admirals only looked after Star Destroyers.
Yeah. Come on, Chris. Watch the films.
What the hell? At least know your stuff.
Yeah.
God, these Star Wars fans, probably think the prequels are good. There's a study done, actually. Kids do not play with physical toys.
Many kids sadly don't play with physical toys, mostly digital.
There's a thing that basically now kids, if they set them down with toys, they don't know what to do.
No, that's right.
And then they go straight, hand them the device, and they'll start swiping. But what we're seeing now is kids aren't developing motor skills.
No. And you see the parents, like on the bus, to keep the kids quiet, they'll hand them the phone with some type of game on. And even if the kid's been naughty and the kid sits there going, I want to play with the phone. And, if it was me brought up, I would say, you're not having it if you're naughty. These, keep quiet. There you go. You have it while I have a fag or whatever.
God, I remember trying to do the no devices at the dinner table rule.
Yeah.
And it was like, fucking, do you think it was instilled in a concentration camp sort of mentality? It was like, really can't sit and eat dinner and talk. Really, without being in the thing.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't grow up like that. I love technology. Technology is fantastic. It has opened the world to us.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad it doesn't own me.
I wonder if Chris has watched Disney's The Black Hole. Chris, have you?
Oh, that's a weird. I meant to do that sometime, but I
Terrible.
refuse to. I refuse to buy anything of
Put
Disney.
you down on Maximilian Snell. You
It
go
was
through.
like I was liking the Terrahawks.
He
You know
goes.
the robots.
Yeah.
I was liking them like they had the idea of the Terrahawks before the Terrahawks became a thing.
Anthony Perkins asked Maximilian Snell, Dr. Reinhardt, "You're going in through the black hole, Doctor?" He goes, "In, through," and then he looks, realizes he's pointing in the wrong direction, and goes, "And beyond." And it's just so bad that you've got to watch it to the end.
Notice we're doing anything to avoid talking about this.
Yeah, let's get back to the film.
we're trying not to, because honestly, there's nothing. This is just, if you watched our review of Vault of Horror, that's the same review.
Yeah. Just well rerun that. I mean,
yeah, you may as well, because they just reran. They just reran the same stories.
Yeah.
There's not really much. Like, it's just exactly the same problems, exactly the same beats. Just the stories are slightly different. But yeah, they really play this up. This whole thing with Peter Cushing, just to destroy him. So yeah, got rid of his dogs, and then they got him to lose his job. And once again, there's no actual reason for them doing it, because they're not selling, or
And why Valentine's cards?
That was just the push. Yeah, that was just the final push.
But why that? Because they didn't sign them. You know, the perfect thing would have been there to sign them from his wife.
Yeah,
or something like that. But they just threw all these rhymes in them. And why Valentine's Day?
I think what it was as well, had to this had to be sanitized.
Yeah,
you know, they're trying to show basically a campaign of harassment, and they couldn't show the length like it would be done today.
Yeah.
So it was so innocent.
Like a stalker, like my stalker. Have you read Stalker yet?
Yes, I've talked to you about it, and I don't want to talk to spoil it.
Yeah. You were what?
I didn't want to talk about it to spoil it.
Oh, right.
Remember we had a chat before, one of the times before. Sure, just finished it.
Yeah.
And then we had a chat online before we ended up being late with the stream because it was. Look, social proof.
Excellent. Someone's bought a copy of my first book yesterday, and yeah.
God, I need to advertise mine, but I can't be honest. But yeah, I think they were just trying to sanitize. They couldn't have it be fully graphic, this harassment they were doing.
Yeah. But he had a great big pile, didn't he? He opened 3.
Yeah.
I would have had to have opened the rest, just see, you know, but I would have gone.
I think they ran out of rhymes. I think that was it. The writing team, that's all they could come up with.
And it was all the same writing inside.
Well, it was done in the... Did he handwrite it, or was it printed from the cards?
No, it was handwritten in red.
Handwritten?
Yeah.
Because it looks very similar to sort of, you know, printed.
Yeah. They went to Moonpig. Moonpig. That's what they were hoping for. Oh, damn, isn't Moonpig around yet?
Yeah, I think heard of it. Oh, you did watch it? Black Hole?
It scared me. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I suppose it was quite scary, especially when the robot had the killer wheel things that killed Anthony Perkins. What was he called?
Yeah, God, I can't remember. It's been that long.
Yeah, and I was surprised, actually, talking about it scared him, that it came across as a PG rating, because there were several deaths in it. Like I said, the robot that was Maximilian Snell's robot, Dr. Reinhardt's robot, actually killed Anthony Perkins he had like these propeller type things on his arms, and he actually went right through Anthony Perkins, held up a book like that to protect himself. A book. And of course, the sharp blades just went right through the book, and then you had to visualize it going through his body. But it was quite violent for a PG. So yeah, but the ending, it looked like they just run out of budget, because the ending just made no sense whatsoever. They'd gone through the black hole, and suddenly there was all these pretty sort of like church entrances going through, and it just didn't make any sense whatsoever. I think they ran out of budget. So
They just get the end of the movie. Oh, we can't do it anymore. Oh, damn.
Yeah. Anyway, we're getting off subject again.
No, well, and that's what set him over the edge. He gets one of his dogs back and he hangs himself, leaving the dog in the house. I was like, really?
Where does the dog go though?
Yeah. Well, the dog ended up with one of the kids.
Oh yeah, but he'd heard the guy across the road had heard the dog barking, but when he actually went there, the dog wasn't around until the time that he gave it. One of the kids grabbed the dog, and when.
Why worry about continuity in this? You know what I mean? Just let it go over your head. But of course, then he comes back as a zombie because why not?
Yeah.
A year later, 2 years later, was it a year later?
Out of the grave like that.
It just sets up, because they only bury people like that much under the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that the makeup on his zombie thing from 1972, as I keep saying, was quite good for how they did that bit, but and I like the way that he had the hand there, didn't he, on his desk, and so he puts his hand beside it. But rips his heart out. He puts his own rhyme on it.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. You were mean and cruel right from the start. Now you really have no.
And he opens it up. Heart!
Still beaten.
Yeah.
They probably spent most of the budget on the film on that effect.
Yeah. The heart cost £169,000.
Yeah, and they spent $1,000 on everything else because it looks it. But the better of it, but they really took their time getting there, and the end was just a bit convoluted.
Yeah. And
then Wish You Were Here is the next one. This is the one about the wishes and the bike and the death and the monkey's paw.
Yeah.
Ruthless businessman, and he's like, I hurt people, I had to, because I'm a businessman, and that's what businessmen do. You're like, okay, he's a bit of a tit, but
he's going bankrupt.
I just love the fact that they had this statue and they never noticed it before. Oh, let's look at this statue now.
Yeah, we're going bankrupt. We ain't got any money. Oh, look, it says on there if we have 3 wishes. Well, I'd like lots of money, please.
It's very I don't know. Is
that old joke about the genie that gave the Irishman 3 wishes, and he went, I'll have a never-ending barrel of money, please. He says, all right, what do you want for your second wish? Another one. Sorry, picking on the Irish again.
Wah, wah, wah. They deserve it. Ah, dear. Yeah. I'm trying to think what this compares to in the other one. Just a weird plot.
It is.
We've seen the 3 Wishes plot before anyway, so nothing new.
No.
But it was just the convoluted way they went, okay, your money thing's been solved. And did she make the second wish before they actually found out that the first one was okay?
No, she made the second one because she wanted her husband back, didn't she?
Yeah, but
and then he came back, and she says, no. And her third one was, I want my husband back as he was before the accident, wasn't it? And they just brought his body in, and then afterwards, she says, oh, before he had the accident, and that's when he came back and he was all embalmed. So that was her three wishes: money, husband.
Yeah,
back.
I remember the first one. She wanted the money, and then he drove off, and then that's where you get the weird biker.
Yeah.
Come behind him, which is like
made no sense.
No, you could have just had him crash, or you could have showed him have the heart attack.
Yeah.
She didn't know, so it didn't matter. We could have seen it as the audience.
It's like I said to you as well. He was looking in his rear view mirror, and he could see the face perfect, and it was huge in his mirror, like the biker was sat in his back seat. So yeah. I just didn't get how I suppose it was to signify death, but why?
Yeah, it was meant to be death,
But why? Where did he come from? What was?
I think it was just a plot. I think it was just a plot device. I don't think the director thought about it,
because there wasn't a thing on the statue saying you will be followed by a biker in a death mask.
Maybe that was a bit. Remember, they couldn't read the bit at the bottom.
Couldn't read at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit that was covered at the bottom. Because you normally mess with occult artifacts when you don't have the full instructions.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Just here's an occult artifact. I can only read part of the inscription, so let's just steam ahead with activating the magical device and see what happens, because that always works out well.
Yeah. But she wished him back, and then when she realised he couldn't come back as normal because he was embalmed, she starts chopping him up. But she'd already wished that he could be alive for forever and ever, and she had all his.
But she didn't wish herself to be alive forever and ever. So what the hell was?
Had all his intestines coming out and everything, and there he was still alive.
Yeah,
poor guy.
Technically, he shouldn't have been in the vault.
No, he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have been in the vault because everyone in the vault was dead.
Yeah.
He's still alive, screaming, because he's got a bombing flu. Do you know what? Actually, that's the only time I'll give this one props. It's the only time they mention that when you end up dead in the coffin, you get embalmed, and it's not your body fluids.
Yeah.
Do you know every zombie movie ever, they just get up and they walk about and still have their guts?
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the way it works.
No, take your pieces out.
That all comes out.
Yeah.
And at least this one they acknowledge the fact, you do get embalmed. But how did she get him back? How did the funeral happen and her not know?
Perhaps the funeral didn't happen. Perhaps it was nearing the funeral time.
No, but the kind of skip. It's like it happens almost straight away, right? He travels. They get the phone call from the police to his solicitors. Yeah. The solicitor rings her straight away, and then when the time it takes him to go over to the house, this is all happening in the same hour.
Yeah, that's right.
So where does this funeral happen, or he would still be in the morgue?
Yeah, and they wouldn't have embalmed him that fast.
No, because you don't get embalmed until you're released and get the death certificate. Yeah. And at that point, she would have. I don't know. I don't get it. That's the whole timing of this.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. Where's Oliver lurking? Lurk away, my friend. Lurk away.
Oliver lurking.
Yeah, we get lurkers here. We've actually, believe it or not, we get people that watch, but they never say hello. What are you afraid of? You afraid we might talk to you? Is that what it is? Especially you Facebook folks. I see you folks on Facebook. You know, if you leave a comment, we see it and we can say hello to you.
Yeah.
What are you terrified of? We don't bite, honest.
No. We only take the mick.
If you say something silly, we might make fun of you.
Don't we? We only take the mick of Chris. That's it.
No, well, Chris loves it. He's good for it. He doesn't he loves a franchise he doesn't know anything about. Like that's what I mean. That sums him up really.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, that's where it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Force the last wish to bring him back from the grave. It'll use their second wish to bring him back just the way he was before the accident.
Yeah.
And then they all come in with a coffin because he died of a heart attack, right? That's what it was. And then she wishes him alive. But this all happens like within an hour. It just weird. Very, very, very strange.
Yeah.
And then we'll go back to the crypt again.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, yeah, okay, I guess we're all, you know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
first of all, he shouldn't have been there. But also you were like, why, what's he done bad? And then you realize it was she made a comment about him being in Hong Kong selling weapons too, and then cut off the
Yeah.
right. So that was the only way you knew he was a sort of bad guy, because the whole point, the whole theme of these has been everyone there is deserving. They're damned because of their actions.
Yeah. Which was the same story as Terror, Vault of Terror, wasn't it?
Basically, yeah. It's like I said, that's
They were all naughty
that's what I
boys.
said. Who could have just saved themselves time and went, the last review?
This is where I can't understand, because From Beyond the Grave, do you remember that when I originally discussed that film, I couldn't even remember the title to it. I could only remember the first sketch of the mirror, and I said, he sat up in the mirror and made him kill all these people.
Had defeated souls, and then he went in the mirror, and
that was really scary, really, for its time.
And it was clever.
Yeah, and like we said, it was well acted because Peter Cushing was in the right part, and he was quite scary, really. But were they building up? Because we're going backwards, aren't we?
Yeah.
Were they building up to something like that, thinking, this one sort of all right. This one's a little bit better.
It doesn't mean it's money though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Who liked it?
A lot of people apparently, because even 1970s, 3 million in the box office. That's not to be sneezed at. And it's not even about what they get at the box office. It's what they get compared to the budget.
Yeah.
So if you have a low budget movie and you make a high return, guess what? You've won. Because you're not trying to get everything now is about the $1 billion franchise. That's why movies are just so. There's such a disconnect between the movies and the audience watching them now that's why most people just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Just
checking.
And they pump that much money in now that they need a billion. 1 billion just to break even, never mind actually be a success. But one thing's always been the case with horror. Horror's never had massive budgets. I guess it's quite high budget for horror.
Yeah,
but they've always known the audience, and they've always managed to bring, 9 times out of 10, they bring back a return on investment.
Yeah, because back then they would have had to make a profit on, because money was really tight, wasn't it? So
the 70s was horrible. It was stopping, the country was falling to bits.
Who actually give it it must have been. They must have had faith in it bringing in the money for them to fund it, really.
Well, these are probably just a product of their times. It was just it's the popcorn. I mean, it was the 1970s popcorn flick.
Yeah,
it's the equivalent of the Conjuring Let's be honest. Look at the Conjuring franchise. You're not being challenged in any way, shape, or form. You pretty much know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So they're nice and safe, but people enjoy them.
Inflation-wise, $5 in 1972 is now worth $36 today. So, what did we say? Made 3 million.
Made 3 million.
3 million times 30 times 31. Oh. 3 million times 30.
Billion, to be honest. So 900 million.
300 times 36. And
Like you head over the
calculator.
30, 300 million.
Calculator. It would have been three. Oh wait.
6 zeros.
60 times 36. 108 million.
That's
3 times 36. Yeah, 108.
you look at you look at movies they're making that now in the box office, but their budgets are in the hundreds of millions.
Hmm.
You know, like I said, it was imagine it was a Saturday matinee or a Saturday evening film, and people just went for popcorn flick.
Yeah. Oh, that was 5 though, wasn't it? $5 is worth, and it's worth 36. So 36 divided by 5. That's 36 divided by 5 equals 7.2 times. Was it 3 million it made, wasn't it?
Million, yeah.
21.6 million. 36. Oh, that can't be right. 108 million.
No, that's still it doesn't matter because once again, it's compared to the production. This
Yeah.
only cost 170,000.
Yeah.
Add a third of that, so there's not even 300 grand,
Yeah.
including, and it's not the same today. But you think of
What was it?
promotion,
107,000.
170,000.
170,000.
170 zeros.
17. No. Times 36 equals.
Well, it doesn't matter because the percentages still work.
6 million it would have cost to make it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
6 million, and you get 100 million. It's it's still the same percentage.
Yeah.
You've made a profit.
Yeah.
Job done. Of
And
course
they
you're going
would
to make more.
They would have loved that profit.
Absolutely.
That is a success. That is a big success. So, yeah.
And then we've got Blind Alleys as well. That was the last one.
Yeah. There were, the dog. I noticed 2 of the blind men. They heard the dog barking, and they were staring at roughly where the dog was. And when the dog moved, they were looking at where the dog was. they could see the dog, even though he wasn't barking. So I thought, yeah.
So
he was a bit of a tyrant, wasn't he? The guy who was trying to save
Rupert's
money.
he's a classic army Rupert, up his own backside. But yeah, he takes over this. What is it? A state-assisted home for the blind or something?
For the blind.
Like a nursing home.
Yeah.
And he comes in and he's all like, "Oh well, we'll have to get new pictures up."
And
straight away he's going to be an absolute prat.
Yeah, he wants everything for nothing.
And you're just like, what way is this going? And then it's funny enough because it manages to show that things are reasonable. So the residents are reasonably happy and they're just getting on. He comes to them during breakfast. Is that right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm Major William Roberts and blah 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 blah, and I'm your new superintendent.
Yeah.
Carry on. It's like, all right, this is going to be fun and games.
But he relies on his dog to actually discipline, doesn't he? If he didn't have the dog, he was buggered, really.
Yeah, but that's them all over. He perfectly represents that type of person.
Yeah.
And of course, this is his own freaking hell. We'll see it today, and they don't even hide it. This is supposed to be fantasy, but they see it today. They come in and everything's their personal domain for their own, gratification, and they don't care who this tread on.
Yeah.
So we'll just see everyone's getting like living in squalor while he's living in laps of luxury in his office. Where he's a living superintendent.
Steak meals and everything like that.
With their own grill. This is Oliver Twist, but the blind home. But you kind of know where it's going anyway.
Yeah,
Like there's no surprises here.
yeah, it's. But I don't know if you notice. You know when the razor blades, um, you could tell that they were sort of bendy, and they
Yeah,
were real razor blades. Were I mean, I've cut myself with real razor
even the
blades.
bit in the middle. People forget that bit in the middle is like really sharp too.
Yeah, yeah,
And like just push him into a wall like that is not happening.
no,
But the whole convoluted way of getting them, trapping them in the cellar and the dog, and then building this whole thing, it's just
yeah.
like, all you have to do is leave him in there.
It was supposed to have been 2 days, and not one of them, neither the dog or the man, had any like feces or anything.
No, and the
The
dog.
dog,
I love the way they
dog
kept
killed the
recycling the
bloody
same shot.
if I left my dog for 2 days, I'd have a pile like the pile of poo from the dinosaur on
Yeah,
Jurassic
flip's
Park,
sake.
Uh, yeah.
Nah, this was absolutely ridiculous. There was no. Uh, he just knew where it was going. He was going to treat them like dirt. It was going to get worse. They were huddled up. He was sitting in lap of luxury. He knew where it was going. I just
Yeah.
didn't like the end of it. It'd be better if I just bobbed him in the head, took him outside, or just left him in the cellar
Yeah.
and boarded up the door.
Would have been the ideal thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just board him up and
Yeah.
job done. Just left him at the end screaming, cut fade to the end.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been scary.
Yeah. Just the fact they're prepared to leave him there in the basement
Or
screaming.
even starve the dog and for the dog to eat him.
But that's what they were doing, but they made it in a convoluted maze.
Yeah.
But it takes more than 2 days.
Yeah.
Nah, it was just daft. There's nothing, like I said, it's a story's been done 100 times, and this wasn't done well.
No.
And then we go to the finale where like everyone realizes they're dead.
I laughed at the bit when the first guy went through. And
Of course, because the door opens like the
yeah.
vault of horror.
Special effects were fantastic. Into
That was
hell.
Yeah, but that wasn't the best bit.
No.
Like, if you saw somebody walk through a door and you hear them screaming and falling into the bowels of hell,
You into
oh, it's my turn then.
Yeah, I'll go as well. No, all four of them at
Yeah,
once.
they
didn't wait for. Well, you go first. See what happens.
just all filed away. Like, oh, this is the exit stage. I mean, it was just like like a school play.
Yeah,
And the kids are told to file off the stage.
yeah,
That's exactly what it was like.
yeah. It's that old thing, I always joke when these TV programs and the police are chasing. They go, "Police, stop!" Well, what are the people going to do? Oh, okay, I'll stop. And it was the same with this. They had this thing that was going to kill them, and they were just carried on walking towards it, and they didn't care that they were going to their death. And it was the old "please stop" thing. Okay, it just didn't click with them, did it? But
Yeah.
and then Rolf Richardson says, "Now for the next lot," wasn't it?
Yeah. Be careful, it might be you. Wow, flames and. Would Peter Cushing have played a better Crypt Keeper?
I don't think the part was right for him. I don't. No. Probably. Just trying to think who would play it. I think Rolf Richardson was the wrong sort of person.
He didn't land.
Rolf Richardson, you're talking of a guy who used to do Shakespeare and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
Used to play those sort of parts. And for him to be the Crypt Keeper in a horror film, it just wasn't the right part for him. and why on earth he would have accepted such a part, I'll never know. Because, like I said, he's a classical actor.
Could have been friends of
Yeah,
friends or said this was a good idea.
yeah,
But the whole thing was flat, Like I said, with the Vault of Horror, at least you got a wee bit of, oh well, we're here, sort of confused, and there's a bit of sense. This made no sense.
no, and there was no sense of we've got to get out of here. Yeah.
They just had accepted your fate the
Until
minute
the
you
end,
stepped in.
oh look, yeah, we'll go, no problem. Yeah, there was no urgency that they had to get out. That they've been locked in, they were being held prisoner, really. And it just no sense at all. Yeah, it's like I said to you, when they walked in, he went, sit down. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. We'll have a seat. No drinks. Any chance of a coffee?
Very rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the best entry. I just hope that they're all not like this.
Because
this is going to be a difficult series to go through, unfortunately.
If it went the other way, if they sort of started good and went bad, that you could. There's always the sequel problem, isn't it? And very rarely do you get a good sequel. Once number one's done.
But these could possibly be starting off bad.
They're not sequels, but they seem to have started off so far badly and got really good.
Yeah, because Vault of Horror was definitely better than this. Marginally so, but it was still better.
From Beyond the Grave was
From Beyond the Grave, brilliant.
My favourite so far. And when it sticks in your mind, that's when you know it's a good film. And like I said to you, that scene with the mirror stuck in my mind, and that's when you know that it's good. But I can't remember anything from Vault of Terror, and this one. Well, I've had to write down notes on this one, and the only
I struggled to make notes. I think it's the only one I've struggled to actually make notes because I'm like, it's just the same as last time. There's nothing new to, what I mean? There's nothing even to pick apart with these because they're just meh.
Yeah, it just comes across that they've taken the comic, but they've seemed to have taken the weakest stories from the comics that they could possibly find. For this film. Yeah, people loved them. The average score on IMDb 6.9.
Yeah, people have a proper.
Some of the blockbusters of today don't even reach 6.9 on IMDb.
Well, in fairness, though, modern movies are absolute crap. That I couldn't even bring them. At least I can laugh at this and go, "Yeah, it was terrible. It was a product of its time. Yeah, they've got this wrong," but I'm still able to watch it. A lot of modern movies, I'm like, can't even bring myself.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to watch on this show, I was trying to do a lot of indie movies like 2000 to 2020, 2023, like the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And there's so many, like there's some cool ones, but there's so many are just absolute they're just crap. Like they don't even try. And it's a pain to watch. But it seems to be this problem isn't, just generational. It's throughout movie making. You just get
19 people gave it 10 out of 10. This.
Oh wow.
13 give it 9.
Do you know what? See those 19 people? I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad this brought you happiness. That's all I can say.
28 gave it 7. 9 give it 6. 6 give it 5. 4 give it 4. Yeah, it gradually goes down then. So, yeah, the average, like I said, 6.9 out of 10. So that would account for mostly the 7s, 28 7s. Someone's mentioned here it's a rip-off of Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. I've never seen that.
Is that not one of the... Hang on. Is that not the first one?
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong document. Dr. Terror's House of Horrors is an Amicus. Is the first one, 1965.
Oh, it
So it's
says
part of the series.
yeah.
So they've obviously not realized this is a series and it's the same company, and they're all taken from Tales of the Crypt.
Someone else has said it was
Someone has missed the point completely.
a nice way to waste a couple of hours. Oh. Yeah.
I genuinely laughed at Joan Collins acting in the first one. I genuinely laughed, just it was that daft.
Oh, she's always OTT though, isn't she? She's all her things. Even the adverts, she'd done a couple of adverts, didn't she? Was it Chiano Bianchi? No, that was oh yes, Miss Jones. I'll have it in Chiano Bianchi.
She's a writer as well.
Do you know?
She's Dame Joan
Do you know we're looking at Asylum next?
Yep.
The writer of Asylum was the same one who
Jackie
did.
Collins is the author, isn't she? Sorry.
Yeah. The writer of Asylum is the same guy who wrote the book for Psycho, Robert Bloch.
Robert Bloch? All right, that's going to be cool then.
Yeah. So,
I actually like the book Psycho 2.
Psycho 2. Yeah.
Psycho 2 is basically Norman Bates in the asylum.
Yeah.
And it's a whole... God, I used to have it, but it was basically him in the asylum in his head while another murder case is going on, and then they're coming back to interview him, but then it's showing him escaping at the end. It was a bit like Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
Before Silence of the Lambs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I remember enjoying that book. The movies, not so much.
Yeah, someone's put here, it's arguably Amicus's best film, Asylum.
Did they do these reviews in 1972? Did they go forward in time, find the internet? Or were these transcribed from newspaper?
That was a critic's review.
Who cares about critics? Critics know nothing.
Oh no! They thought Hereditary was good, didn't they?
Yeah, well there you go. I love the way in Hereditary they make that whole thing about the wee girl, and it's nothing to do with the wee girl.
No.
Like she seems a massive red herring in that.
Yeah.
You're just that was bad. I watched it once, so I couldn't do it again.
We were in the cinema. We were laughing. There were even youngsters beside us on the left. They were laughing as well. We were laughing, and then when the headless body went up to the treehouse at the end,
God, that was just like
we were screaming.
There's only one good scene in it.
When the kid's head gets knocked off.
No, the scene of the book. No, the cover of the head getting knocked off was just like wee bit of a shock. No, the scene of the book in the fire.
Oh yeah.
She throws a book in the fire.
Mm.
That's the only good scene that actually had proper tension. But everything else is just a farce. It made no sense.
No.
You're our god, but we're going to drive you insane first. Because, Ooga Booga, Scary Worry Ghosts.
Yeah. This asylum, it says, in order to secure a job at a mental institution, a young psychiatrist must interview 4 patients inside the asylum. So does he interview them and each one goes through their
story, how they ended up there?
So, yeah.
And is he going to be a patient himself?
Wow.
We shall find out, because that'll be next.
As long as it's better than this bloody.
They can't have been terrible, and then the studio go, I tell you what, that was absolutely shockingly bad. Let's give you money, and let's hope you make a good one, because that just makes no sense. But I think that's really all we can say about this. This was we had to go on how many tangents just to get through an episode because bloody hell, there was nothing to say. See last review.
Just seeing this as, Asylum, the soundtrack is A Night on Bald Mountain. Now, I don't want to put a spanner in the works, but A Night on Bald Mountain was also included in Saturday Night Fever. Oh.
Yay, disco.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be a laugh. Well, Steve, as always, mate, a pleasure. Sorry for, well, I don't know, was this your idea or mine? We sort of both decided to go through these.
Amicus, yeah. Well, originally it was just the From Beyond the Grave, wasn't it? And then,
but we're going to do the House that Dripped Blood. I never realised it was a whole series.
Then we saw that Amicus was thinking on reviving, weren't they?
Yep.
This year, and we thought, oh, let's go back and do their others then.
So if they're coming out this year, then let's see what they've done.
Yeah. So it's Asylum and the House of
I've got concerns. I have some concerns, just a few.
We don't want to review Asylum to actually land up in one ourselves, do we?
I might do it. Might be the one thing that pushes over the edge.
Doing an Asylum.
We're giving her a review like this.
Yeah, straight jacket.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I watched Asylum and that does to me.
Yeah.
Can we get in trouble for saying that stuff? Probably there's going to be somebody offended out there, but yeah. Stuff you.
Someone offended.
Yeah. Well, there you go, folks.
Yeah.
As always, Steve, thanks, mate. Appreciate you being here. Looking forward to the next one. It'll be a laugh if nothing else. And
Peter Cushing's in the next one. Should be good.
Yay!
Britt Eklund.
Oh, cool.
Sylvia Sims. Richard Todd. Barry Morse.
All right, we're from.
Who else do I know? Herbert Lom.
Not familiar with him.
Herbert Lom. Yeah, he was Pink Panther. He was.
Was he Clouseau? No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't Clouseau. He was the like the guy who was always after Clouseau.
I can't remember.
Lost. Yeah, Patrick McGee.
Patrick McGee, obviously. Patrick McGee was in this one, but I can't remember who.
And Jeffrey Bowden, who's in this one, Catweasel. He's in Asylum. And Robert Powell. Remember Robert Powell? He was in the remake of the 39 Steps.
Oh, right, yes. That was
1979, I think it was, something like that, wasn't it? Something like that it was. So yeah, again, a nice good cast. And
just hope they picked better comics this time.
Be better than this one. All I can say is, if anyone's watching out there, don't waste your time with this one. Unless
skip this one. Just watch the Vault of Horror, and you'll see this one. And just slightly better.
Yeah, slightly better.
We'll do like a review at the end of give it like our top 3 or something. But we already know. From Beyond the Grave is going to be number 1 so far because that's
Amicus Premier League table.
Yeah,
and then save the manager.
So tomorrow night we've got some Alien roleplay. That's going to be fun. We've got the Draconis Strain trilogy. We might be just finishing Chariot of the Gods part. All our characters are probably going to die horribly. We'll see. And we've got the 2 Towers on Thursday. And we've got Hellraiser on Sunday. So we've a busy week. So
is that the original Hellraiser?
Yes. The original.
Brilliant film.
Yeah, we're closing out our Clive Barker series. We're holding that one to the end because we know we love that one because he's done some stinkers. Some of his movie adaptations have not been good.
No. Hellraiser's the class one.
I accidentally watched 6 of them. One go.
He must be psyched out. What with Tremors? Hell.
Oh, with Tremors 6, obviously the following week we're going to Canada. We're going to Alaska.
When's Tremors? Tremors 294.
No, I haven't got the. You're coming on for 74, is that right?
Yeah.
No, the 12th. 12th we're doing Tremors 6. We've only got 2 more movies, a TV series and a TV film, I think, left to go. So not too much.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's actually been more fun than what we thought.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
Years
thought it was
ago,
going to be an absolute slog, but they're actually pretty decent sequels, considering.
years ago in the cinema in Swansea, they used to show all nighters of the same series of movies, and I think Friday the 13th was on something like number 6, and they showed all 6 in one night, and yeah, was it Friday the 13th? Yeah, Friday the 13th.
You have to. Come on, if they're showing them all at once and you're there, you have to do it. It's,
Yeah, but yeah,
even though the first 3 movies make no sense, in terms of continuity.
oh, I know. But it's like I said, look back at the history of Friday the 13th. It's they never even had a script when they actually said this is the worst horror film of all time, and they were trying to get finance. So they were trying to get finance for a film that they never even had a script for. And they done it. They wrote the script after they got the money.
That's
The history of it is in a book about that thick and about that big, and it's got all the photos and everything from, but it only goes up to about number 6, I think. The first 6 films, because that's when the book came out. I suppose that's when they thought it was going to end.
never end there.
Yeah.
But there you go. Right.
Yeah, sorry, we're going off plot again, aren't we?
Once again, just anything not to talk about this movie, but
Don't forget, end of January, The Mist on the Mountain, based in the Garrow Valley up here in Wales. Yeah,
it's a coming.
It's quite a twist and a turn on who done it. Yeah,
Fun times. Of course, we
will.
will.
As long as I don't get sued by the South Wales Police. Oh, that'd be brilliant. I've done them. I've upset the MP, so I might as well upset the police, you know.
Yeah, might as well, sure. And for a penny and for a pound, as they say.
Yeah, I'm only a little unknown author, and bang, I can upset so many people.
Here, you're making an impact with your work.
As they say, face bothered.
Still having fun.
Sue me.
Right, folks. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. As always, keep updated with the channel. Do the typey clicky things. And until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.